This is our 2015 fishing trip to Baffin with Kevin Cochran. For George, Garcia, Eric Hayes, and Larry Hayes. So, didn't catch much, but George managed to land the fish that saved the trip. Here you see him fighting what ends up being a 6-pound, 28.5-inch trout, which beats his 26-inch record and most of our records. Need a little bit of help getting it off the line. When he first caught it, actually we were tangled, and I managed to get us untangled. The fish went and sat beside him, kind of behind him, while the line was loose. Didn't throw the hook. And when George brought the line tight, which is about where this video started, the fish was still on and green. It hadn't spent any real energy, but it also didn't exhibit any energy. As you can see here, it never really left that area between us. Once we get her on the boga, we weigh her. She hits right at 6 pounds on my boga. We used the rod that George's rod has a measuring. She hit right over the 28, about 28.5. That's Captain Kevin getting ready to take some pictures and hopefully not telling the story of how George caught this fish. This is probably the first 28.5-inch trout to actually sit beside the angler taking a nap while we figure out how to get our lines untangled. So she hit right at 28.5. The brown tide, this is down near Baffin. This water's not supposed to be this color. This was actually the clearest we could find. The brown tide was pretty bad, but this was the best of the locations. We only found one other barrier that on the intercoastal that actually held decent water. So there's his 28.5-inch. Taking our boat ride to one of the other spots. Captain Kevin runs a Haney. Considering the weather for the day, it was actually pretty nice. Thunderstorms throughout Texas. Dad and George sitting on the back deck. So just to show a few of the other fish we caught, a few small trout, a few small redfish, and Captain Kevin caught one keeper red, and Dad caught a keeper flounder. All in all, considering the day, it was pretty good. We went to Rocky Slough to try and fish one of our favorite areas, and the water was so brown with brown tide you couldn't even see the bottom or the rocks. So we ended up staying on these spoils and actually came back to the original spoil where George caught the 28, and this is where we were catching a bunch of other stuff. we spent our second day on Port Aransas. George caught the biggest fish there, but it got away. And then I caught one other trout. George caught another trout, and it also got away. But we had a great trip, learned a lot, and still very successful with George's giant trout.